Ever since we got back to the US after the wedding and spent 3 weeks at home, there's been a low-key sadness in my soul that I can't quite describe. A longing for the embrace and the love and community I felt being home. There was just something so freeing about being able to just exist and not have so many subconscious worries, if that makes sense. Things that I definitely took for granted until we got back to the US and I was like, oh, we're back? For starters, my digestive system was so much better at home than here. This might be TMI for some people, but alas, when I'm in the US, I'm forever constipated. Like, it's actually more common for me to be constipated than it is not to be. But at home, it felt like constipation who? Constipation where? Granted, it was mango season and your girl was definitely indulging, but at least the mangoes tasted like real mango, you know? So I miss the food at home for sure. But what I have been missing the most is actually the community of people around. Fair enough, we were home during the peak holiday season, so certain vibes were more better because we were gathered for festivities. But man, did it feel good, you know? The peace that just came from walking around town and seeing and hearing people who sounded like me. Seeing the cops or hearing sirens did not immediately make my heart drop to my stomach. And just the sheer beauty of not having to pronounce or repronounce my name a million times for people to get it, or feeling the need to say things and pronounce them a certain way just for the next person to hear. It just felt so easy and peaceful. Was the trip home a perfect visit? Of course not. Are you really Zimbabwean if you don't encounter family drama or anything? Anytime you go home from the diaspora, you know that you're going to encounter family drama. There was definitely some chaos and hectic moments, but even then, it felt like we could breathe through it, you know? My confidence was definitely so much better too, because it didn't feel like I was having to fight the imposter syndrome or the feeling of not being good enough that I constantly feel when I'm here. Because let's face it, being a black woman in America feels like you're fighting to be seen every day. And then we add the immigrant part to it, and game over. Whilst everyone is starting on zero, oftentimes it feels like we're starting on minus 50. So with all the odds already fighting against us, including your own self, you know, but at home, none of this was even a thing. If you had asked me a year ago if moving back to Zim was a thought or a possibility for us, I would have straight up said, nah, we're going to be here for a while. But now, after the visit home, the thoughts of moving back to Zim one day is not so much of a far thought.